Welcome to round 6 of the eStockCar World Series on Maconi Entertainment. We're now starting to round out the mixture of tracks these drivers are seeing. They've already been on the twisting road course circuit of COTA, seen a handful of ovals, and now they will see mud for the first time. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. My name is Joey Adbury, and joining me in the booth tonight is Will Tiller, Ryan the bearded sim racer Bauer working the controls as our producer, and the camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. We're about halfway through the regular season of the eStockCar World Series. Tonight, race number 6. The points are starting to take shape, and we're going to see who grabs a hold of this championship battle. Blake Reynolds has been our only repeat winner of the season. Will we see someone else join him with a second win tonight? Bristol is a track that is loved by race fans for decades, and in recent years we've seen it covered in dirt for special NASCAR events. Will, what can we expect to see here tonight?
Well, everybody knows that Bristol is the Coliseum of racing. You have that attendance of over 153,000 people that fit inside the bowl that is Bristol Motor Speedway. But here tonight on the dirt, we're going to have 26 to 30 degrees of banking in the corners. As with Darlington, wall hits are common. Many drivers will click their doors on the wall, so watch those trucks here tonight have difficulty. We're going to be sliding around this track a little bit. Watch for that contact here. Of course, it was opened in 61, as you mentioned, with the dirt being first added just a couple years ago. Originally asphalt and then replaced with concrete in 1993. But Joey, here tonight, these drivers, I think, will have more fun at a race like this, as we have a few off-road racing drivers that now get to get in their comfort zone here in this race tonight.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of real off-road talent out here, and it's a little bit different on the oval, but taking a look, we are in the trucks tonight. Not the off-road trucks, but the NASCAR trucks. 65 laps for everyone. They're allowed one fast repair. That means if they get significant damage, they can come down and just click it and get that thing fixed. Otherwise, they're going to have to get the damage fixed at kind of a time penalty in pit lane. 3 green-white checkered flag attempts, and it is a fixed setup here, running 65% of the maximum fuel load, and with 65 laps, that'll probably come into play here, and I think that they have unlimited sets of tires, so we'll see what comes into play, if it's going to be track position or that fresh new tire set. And Will, if you were to ask me, I think we're going to see track position kind of be dominant of what the racers want tonight. Is we've got a very fresh racetrack and cars are just starting to qualify.
Yeah, watching qualifying take place here, Joey, but I think you hit it right on the head here. We're going to watch that track position change throughout tonight's race. Some drivers are going to prefer that inside lane, some drivers will prefer that top side lane. But for me, Joey, I expect a lot of passing to be done on the outside. It's going to be very difficult to try to break that line on the inside here at Bristol. So watch out for a lot of these trucks to try to slide up the corners just a little bit more to make those passes around the racetrack. As we're watching one of the hottest drivers here in the series, Blake Reynolds, take his qualifying time now.
You see the number 66 taking the low line, and we're going to see this line shift around throughout the night when it gets grooved in. The racers are definitely going to search around for where that grip is, and Blake Reynolds here really just searching for it. You see how slippery this racetrack can be, and right now the number 14 of Nate Stewart on the provisional pole right now. And before we get going, I just want to give a shout out to Maconi Entertainment and also Maconi Setup Shop. Maconi Setup Shop is the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. Head on over to www.maconisetupshop.com and you can check out all of the subscriptions that they've got available over there, starting at just $8 a month. And if you're interested in getting the broadcast information, they also have a Maconi Entertainment tab up there that you can click on and fill it out, and Jeff will get back to you about how to get your iRacing race, series, or league just broadcast here on Maconi Entertainment. And Will, these drivers are only allowed 2 laps for qualifying. I see the majority of them have taken their 2 laps, but there's still a few out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's still a few out there, but it looks like we might be coming to a conclusion of qualifying here, Joey. And as we're wrapping this up, how important is that qualifying session here tonight, which we expect a lot of carnage to take place?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be important to get out front. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of yellow flags here tonight. Track position is definitely going to be the name of the game. And also, if you have to come down pit road during yellow flag or during a green flag, it can be very, very tricky to get onto pit road down there. So have to watch to see where these drivers make a mistake, if it's on the racetrack or even just as simple as coming down pit road.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the action here tonight. One thing, Joey, I know these drivers packed here tonight are those ski goggles. So watch out for that dirt as it comes back at you on the racetrack here tonight in this race. But Joey, you got to feel as a driver, this is the race that you want to win during the season. Yeah, winning at an oval is cool, super speedway is awesome, but to be able to pick up a win at the dirt track at Bristol, that comes with a lot of bragging rights the rest of the season.
It does come with a lot of bragging rights, and right now it's still Nate Stewart that's sitting provisional pole. I see, looks like Nathan Ramsey, Franklin Monick, and well as Lance Marsh, they're all in here, but I believe they're going to choose to probably start at the back of the field, and I don't blame them. You know, it can be pretty chaotic. I know we're only doing 65 laps here tonight, Will, but the dirt, especially before it gets packed in and you have racing grooves out there, it can be very slippery, and it can just kind of be avoiding or playing Frogger out there while other people spin.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I was going to pop to you, Joey, as we're taking a look at the starting grid here tonight in the eStockCar World Series. 65 laps at Bristol on a regular asphalt race here at Bristol. Doesn't seem like a lot of laps. Does the dirt make any difference in the length of this race here tonight?
Well, no, because it's technically the same distance, but
Right.
but the lap times will be slower, yes.
Right.
And then I think just the majority of the field is used to racing on concrete when they come here, or asphalt, or whatever you want to call it. I'm no expert on the surface stuff, but yeah, I think the dirt is definitely the biggest variable. It will slow the cars down. It's going to make everything slippery, and it'll definitely be exciting. And with that, we're going to have our starting grid with Nate Stewart, the number 14 car, on pole position. Joining next to him is going to be Blake Reynolds in the number 66. Keaton Swain in the third place there. Sam Brochu in fourth. James Burke rounding out the top five. Paul Mikulajic in sixth. Nicholas Dashlett there in seventh. Barrett Polimas eighth. Connor Berry, and then Matthew Hofer rounding out the top 10.
Picking up in the 11th position, we have Tyler Green in the 17 machine. Hayes Booth will roll off 12th here tonight in the number 5 Ford. In 13th, we have Matthew Jarrett in the 81 machine. In 14th, we have Christopher Faddick in that 08 run off 14th. 15th will be Crystal King in that 69 machine. 16th will be Sean Williams. 17th, AJ Marsh. 18th, Troy Neeson. 19th position will be Franklin Monick in that 52. 20th will be Lance Marsh. And the last truck on the track here tonight will be Nathan Ramsey in that 4 machine.
Yeah, and like we saw, just a couple trucks didn't put down a qualifying time. They are opting to start from the back and get a shot of the weather here tonight. A nice 80 degrees at Bristol. Track temperature, that mud, you know, you got to blend in if you want to avoid the predator. It's a nice cool 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and hopefully that's a pretty good reference for you out there. But 80 degrees, I would love to have 80, but in fact I was in Daytona last week, a couple weeks ago, and it was 80, so not too far off. And Will, we're going to get a quick couple pace laps, and before we get going, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just excited for tonight's race. Not too often as broadcasters up here in the booth, we get to watch dirt races at Bristol. It's usually oval races, road courses, super speedways, but here tonight, for us up in the booth, this is a treat, and I know it's a treat for the drivers here tonight.
Rolling through a couple of these onboard cameras here. Here's Sam Brochu. I believe we saw Barrett Polimas and Paul Mikulajic before that as well. Looks like we also have Hayes Booth we can ride along board with. All of these, some really serious players, and love to be up towards the front, but it's Nate Stewart, joined by Blake Reynolds, the only two-time winner here in the eStockCar World Series. Rounding out turn 3 and turn 4, we're about to get the green flag from Barney the Flagman, and We're going to see these trucks slip and slide around as they get on the gas to try to get up to speed and through the gears. And looks like we've got a green flag on the racetrack as they're trying to accelerate. Just a whole bunch of wheel spin from the entire field as they fan out 4 wide through turns 1 and 2 at Bristol for the first lap.
Everybody sliding around. That Stewart in that 14 machine will take us down to the last set of corners, 3 and 4 right now. And you look at that shot right there, Joey, on corner number 4. That's an excellent shot of the truck sliding around as Stewart will lead the first lap down to corner number 1.
Nate Stewart in the number 14 truck really taking advantage of the clean racetrack right now, but big mover Barrett Polimas in the number 79 already up 3 spots only in the first lap. And we're seeing right now when the track is pretty green and new, all of these trucks are going for this low lane down here. They're really trying to get low on the racetrack and then carry it up on exit. And that's going to be something that we're going to watch all night. It's going to change as it gets more and more rutted or blue grooved, as they call it.
Yeah, we're taking a look at Barrett Polimas right now in that 79 machine, riding on board with him, Joey. And the thing that stands out for me, not only from the cockpit shot, but from his in-car camera view as well, is the hand movement here tonight the drivers have to go through. We're only 4 laps into this race of a 65-lap event, and you see how much movement you have on that wheel. I can only imagine how sore and tired you're going to be after this race tonight.
Well, not only the hand movement and how much sawing you have to do with the wheel, but also, we got to remember it is dirty out there, so you got to remember they have tear-offs available to them, but you got to have that button bound. And here's Paul Mikologic doing a little bit of the same thing, dealing with the dirty windshield, riding around here in the 7th place position, but got pretty good track position. And you see it's mainly single file here, not starting to see a lot of passing yet, but I do see a cushion starting to form around the racetrack. And what we're going to see is the racers are going to try to ride that cushion with the right rear tire of their truck.
And you see it right now, and you touched on it there, Joey, here on lap number 7 here live on Maconi Entertainment. Nobody's really passing so far on the track. Now, Joey, could that just be a testament of everybody trying to get comfortable on the dirt here, or are they just taking their time here 7 laps in?
I think that it's showing how difficult this racetrack can really be. It's very fast when it comes to an asphalt racetrack, and when you cover it with dirt, it gets so slippery and really throws drivers that come here regularly for a loop, as we already have a yellow flag on the racetrack. It looks like maybe Franklin Monick, maybe Lance Marsh as well with an issue out there, and have to check and see exactly what happened. But I think this comes at a pretty good pace right now. And here's a quick replay, Will.
You see the 52 machine right there. You also see the 34. You see exactly what brought out that caution. Oh, right there on that split second there, Joey. Before the 52 spins out, we did have a truck on the inside wall right before pit road that may have clipped their nose. Watch it here live on Maconi Entertainment once again. See it right there, Joey. Right on the exit of 4, we're going to have a truck make contact with the inside wall, and then another truck spin right before the entry of 3.
Yeah, you called it, and our producer, Ryan Bauer, was right on top of it. There's actually 2 cars in that same 3-car pack that had an incident just 2 turns apart there. And I was going to say this probably comes at a nice pace, lap 8 or so when that came out. Give these drivers a little bit of a break, because now that they've seen what the racetrack is going to be like, they kind of know how to attack it. Let's regroup them all, get another restart going, and see if we can have a little bit of side-by-side racing action on the dirt. I think we still might be a few laps off of that, but restarts are always a good way to get it going.
It definitely is, and I think we did have some drivers head down pit road there, Joey, on that last caution. Reynolds in the 66 headed down, Barrett Polimas in the 78 headed down, as well as a few other drivers. What could be the cause of that early pit stop here tonight?
Well, I think it could be 2 things. It could be fuel. Depending on when they need to fill up with fuel, it's always a good idea to come and get fuel. It makes your future pit stop shorter. They could also put on some fresh tires, which I assume they did if they came down to pit road and gave up that track position. And I don't think that tires are going to allow them to drive through the field, but it certainly allows you a faster truck than what you had before. So We're going to have to see, because it looks like they come out, the first car that pitted is going to be in 12th place. Pretty far buried in this pack.
Yeah, pretty far buried indeed, Joey. We watched right before that first caution of the night flew. There wasn't much passing on the racetrack, so to gain positions here tonight, only 12 laps in, it's going to be very difficult. So you need to start making your moves quick, fast, and in a hurry if you want a chance at a victory here tonight.
And now we mentioned a few off-road racers, some real-world off-road racers that have a lot of dirt experience. I'm seeing Keaton Swain, I believe Nicholas Dashlett, also one of the junior racers, and then Connor Berry, one of the pro light drivers currently in the number 2, joining up, restarting 5th. But the field is green flag. Nate Stewart in the number 14 machine continues to get a good jump on that lower lane, but here comes Keaton Swain trying to ride the cushion. Car in the wall a little bit further back, but continues on, and Nate Stewart now led by Nate Stewart with the 7 of James Burke taking a look down the inside.
Yeah, James Burke to the inside, and the 7 truck's going to push Stewart up the track there in the 14. Burke's now trying to race for the lead down at the corner, number 1. Swain in the 21 wants a piece of the action as well. We are side by side, sliding around 2, down the backstretch for a battle for the lead, entering corner number 3.
Well, I tell you what, I would not like to be the rear quarter panel on Keaton Swain's car. He is using it up on corner entry, and it's just a product of dirt racing here. But you see the number 2 of Connor Berry take advantage, going down low underneath Keaton Swain, and Keaton's going to have the momentum going down the straightaway, battle it back here, and then dive it off down into turns 3 and 4. And you see him really send it on corner entry and be able to use that cushion on the high side. That's finally starting to come in, and look at that. We were seeing the trucks around the low groove before, and now they're officially moved up into the middle of the racetrack where that cushion is.
Yeah, we're watching Connor Berry right now in that 2 machine trying to get around Sway in the 21. All you have to do, folks at home, is Google Connor Berry. You'll see his accolades in the Pro Light series there. All sorts of articles about his driving ability here tonight. This is his forte, on the dirt in a truck. So watch out what he does here tonight, currently inside the top 5. But back to the battle for the lead right now. We have Burke in the 7, Stewart in the 14, still battling out as we cross the line, make a lap 18 down to corner number 1.
James Burke is definitely hounding the back of Nate Stewart, but the number 14 has led every single lap so far. He hasn't made any mistakes, and no matter what the number 7 is throwing at him, seems like the number 14 has an answer for it. And we're going to have to see if maybe Blake Reynolds or one of these cars that pitted further back is going to be able to give a challenge to Nate Stewart as we see this race develop. But certainly looks like, as of right now, about 20 laps into this race, Nate Stewart is going to be the one to beat tonight.
Yeah, as we already have trucks bouncing off the wall right there. Looks like that's Sam Roach in the 25. Barrett Amos to the inside of him. We are bunched up right now to stay inside the top 10, Joey. On lap number 20, all these trucks want to gain position. What you see how close it is on the corner. We're getting a front row point of view from Blake Reynolds in that 66. Trucks are smashing off each other. That should bring out a caution there, Joey, as trucks are sideways on the corner.
Yeah, no, but they all kept going. No caution needed here, and Blake Reynolds read that perfectly. He dove all the way down, really to the apron, to avoid the 2 trucks that were just kind of off groove in terms of racing on the dirt. And Will, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of that tonight, because as this track gets grooved in, it gets slippery down low. And if you don't have the rhythm right with coming off of the corner, wagging the tail and getting the entry, you can just kind of get off groove, off rhythm, and find yourself wagging when you don't want to, and you need to wiggle instead of wag.
No, it's a lot of wagging and wiggling here tonight, Joey. We've seen it in these battles for position. You might think you have that line. You might think you have that opportunity here on lap 23. Right now, we're watching the battle between Barrett Palahimas and Blake Reynolds in that 66. You might have that opportunity, but then all of a sudden the driver in front of you, they get loose on this dirt. Then you have to correct yourself, and that kills all the momentum that you have battling for that position. As we watch the battle for a second, now we have a battle heating up between Burke in that 7 and the 21 of Swain as we come off the corner right now.
These trucks are going to start to run into lap traffic, and you're right here, the number 21 of Keaton Swain has caught up to James Burke, and he's drug along Connor Berry with them. And once again, seeing the number 21 wear out that right rear quarter panel on the wall, but look at the momentum he's got. And I think this is what we're going to see more out of the off-road racers, Will, is oh no, Connor Berry gets too high up, kind of pancakes into the wall. But I was just going to mention the off-road racers, very comfortable riding that cushion. They understand how to ride that cushion, and I feel like that's where we're really going to see them capitalize as this track gets dirty, gets slippery. They know how to search around and find that groove.
Exactly. As you see Connor Berry, though, go way to the inside of the corner. Is going to kill all that momentum. A bit of a rookie mistake there on the corner, but this dirt is a tricky complex to deal with here tonight. Connor Berry in that second will climb up through the field as he lost a lot of position. As you now see Swain going up on a lap truck there in the 60 machine. That's Marsh in that 60 going to get right up on that back bumper. This is going to be the most difficult aspect, I think, Joey, as we ride up through this lap traffic. You know, it's hard to battle for position for lead lap cars. Now you're trying to get around lapped cars. That's going to be another wrench in the mix here tonight.
Well, and Keaton Swain did a really good job, just threw a big slider down underneath the lap car and then immediately went back up to the cushion. And we're seeing really the top 5 here start to ride this cushion with the right rear. And actually, our leader, Nate Stewart, is probably being the most conservative out of the top 5. As we see, it was James Burke just kind of got into the wall there, but it's going to be flirting with that wall and that limit all night. How close can you get it there? How much can you ride the cushion to essentially get the grip and the drive off with that right rear tire?
Hey Joey, one aspect I was going to ask you about, because this reminds me a lot of drift racing. You know, we all know Tokyo Drift. We know that style, the JDM cars with that drift aspect. How difficult, as you see the 89 machine's really going to catch the wall hard there. That's Williams. You see Barrett Williams in the 79 has to get around him there. How difficult is it to turn right going into a corner and then immediately turning left to get that truck to slide?
Yeah, well, you're doing a lot of it with the throttle and with the differential. And here we see Barrett Polimas himself get into the wall a little bit, but look at him. They just shake it off. It's just going to be a product of racing. But the trucks, the setup, they're meant to drive like this. And actually, if you don't drive it on the limit and you don't have this rhythm, they tend to actually feel very funny and not want to drive right at all. So, Will, to answer your question, you drive it like a race car, it feels just at home.
That's exactly right. You got to let the horses gallop a little bit, as now our second caution of the night has now flown at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
I'm not sure who it was. I see Connor Berry coming out of pit lane. I'm not sure if it was for him, though, or if it was for Nathan Ramsey, who I see turned around. Yeah, here's the number 4 truck, which I believe brought out the yellow flag. Here we're going to get a quick replay here, Will. Yeah, it just looks like he kind of got loose here as the track got slick. He's a little bit off pace, off rhythm already, and just too much of a Scandinavian flick and couldn't keep the truck at that yaw angle he needed.
No, we just saw that out of Connor Berry in that 2 machine not too long ago. Luckily for Connor Berry, though, was able to get that truck right straight and get back in that pack. But unfortunately, right there, we didn't see the same out of the 60 machine on the wall there. As we're 34 laps into this race, Joey, almost about a halfway point of this race. What are some of your insights so far? As you know, we haven't seen many positional changes on the racetrack, but we've started to see a little bit of a rhythm, as you mentioned, those grooves starting to take place now.
Yeah, I think Nate Stewart continues to be the fastest car on the racetrack, and you're going to have to go out and beat the number 14. However, there was cars that pitted on that first yellow flag, and now that we've had the second yellow flag, they opted to stay out on the racetrack. Our first car that came down this yellow is going to be Sam Brochu, starting in 7th place in the number 25. Nate Stewart actually restarting in the 10th place position, way back there in his number 14 truck. And I didn't see any of these names work their way forward earlier when they came in and got tires. So gonna have to see how it all plays out. And interesting to note, looks like Keaton Swain, James Burke, Nicholas Dashlet, as well as Tyler Green all have opted to stay out on the racetrack 35 laps on their current fuel stint.
Yeah, Joe, and I think that's just the strategy of maybe waiting for another caution, basically gambling for the yellow flag to come out again. But we've seen here tonight, we've seen long green flag stints in this race, Joey. That was, I'd say, about 15 to 20 laps before this caution flag came out here tonight. Only 2 cautions so far on a track that usually breeds caution on a regular race surface. But here tonight with the dirt, these drivers are really maintaining that composure and maintaining that skill around one another on the track.
And I don't know the fuel numbers here, but with the early yellow and a lot of the front runners deciding to pit under the first yellow, it makes me think maybe they can stretch it just on the one stop. And if you're the likes of Keaton Swain, you're familiar with off-road racing and you're familiar with knowing you use less and less fuel as this racetrack gets more and more slick. Maybe he's got it in him that he just wants to stretch the whole race if there's enough yellow flag. I don't know. I'm speculating over here because I don't have those fuel numbers, but given that we're over halfway through, it's certainly a possible strategy.
Yeah, and a possible strategy as well, I think, Joey, is at this point you've already knocked doors with another driver. You've knocked the wall as well, as now Barney is ready with that green flag. So are we, as we're green flag racing once again, as Swain in that 21 will take us down to corner number 1.
Big slide job from the number 7 of James Burke through turns 1 and 2, and he's going to take away the lead down low, and already a yellow flag. Looks like maybe Troy Nissen back there in the number 19 might be spun around, but yellow flag right as soon as we get going again.
Yes, sir. As we take a look here on Maconi Entertainment, what brought out that caution flag? And it looks like, Joey, the 19 may have just ran into that same issue we've seen a couple times here tonight where you overdrive the corners. That truck goes at a full 90-degree angle. Looks like he had a friend in the mix as well, but it looked like that was just the 19 already loose across the start-finish line, goes into the corner, already a little bit loose as well. I don't know if there was any contact made there, Joey. I don't know if I saw any.
Oh yeah,
maybe a little bit there.
you call it how you see it. There was definitely some contact there, and he got a little bit of help, but didn't look like heavy contact. Didn't look like heavy damage. He's going to get turned around, stay on the lead lap, and we'll get him re-racked and restacked and get another restart out here.
Yeah, and what I was alluding to before with the drop of the green flag there, Joey, at this point in the race, if you're a driver, let's say inside the top 5, you already have heavy damage on that truck, maybe bouncing off the wall, bouncing off other drivers, are you okay with a little bit of the contact down the stretch so you can gain position? Or are you still racing that respectable way here on the dirt?
I think we're well past halfway now, and you got to take positions for what you can get. So no, I would say the gloves are off, especially with 25 laps to go. You got to get out there and do what you can. And I'm actually seeing in the text chat between the racers, Christy King apologized for getting into the back there. So good on you, Christy, for raising your hand and apologizing there for that incident.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it wasn't a lot of contact, very incidental contact there, as we saw that the 19 machine already getting a little loose into the corner. But that was good on Christy there to raise their hand and say that that was their mistake here with 25 laps to go, Joey. Once we get the drop of the green flag, this could be a shootout to the end.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And speaking of off-road stuff, I know that Christy King does a lot of off-road racing in the sim as well, so she'll have to be one of the ones we keep an eye on. But James Burke, our current leader, made that huge slide job underneath the 21 of Keaton Swain on this restart and took away that top spot. But looky here, we've got the number 66 of Blake Reynolds. He's going to be restarting in the third place position. He is our only two-time winner here in the eStockCar World Series, and he took the opportunity during the first yellow flag to come down and try to get some fresh tires and fuel in the truck. Now going to restart third place. Joining next to him on the outside is Nicholas Dashlet, and then Paul Mikologic rounding out the top 5. And this is going to be one exciting restart. You look at the track surface, look at how slick it is there in the middle. You really see the truck start to line up way up top and way down low to try to get the drive off of the corners that they're going to need to. And getting these awesome onboard cams as everybody on their toes here for this restart. We're going to get this pace truck. He's going to pull off here, driver's left, and going to be up to James Burke on when to go for this green flag as he patiently waits. Barney the Flagman has it in his hands, and here goes the number 7 on the gas. The number 66 of Blake Reynolds also with a really good restart, stacked up further back. Nate Stewart takes it 3 wide way underneath, but here comes 66 Blake Reynolds trying to make a move of it, riding on board here with the 77 as he tries to find this outside groove, taps the wall just a little. You see the dirt and the smoke flying.
Things are getting crazy here as we were 4 wide for position just past the leaders there, Joey, as we're 3 wide. Nope, back to single file here, crossing the line, making 20 laps to go as Burke and that 7 machine still leading the way, but he's got a lot of hungry dogs behind him there as we're stacked up, making right now 20 laps to go down to corner number 1.
Look at this, Nate Stewart getting a big block from the 77 of Paul McLogic, who we were just riding on board with. Now, I believe that Nate is able to make these little bits of move because he is on the freshest tires of this group. And here's a big slide job just as the yellow flag comes out. Perfect timing from the number 14, but looks like maybe Tyler Green as well as Matthew Jarrett spun around on what I believe is the front straight here and get this replay. Lots of action and contact already going on, and oof. Hey, Will, I just think that's a case of that rhythm. He's trying to keep the truck straightened out, and you mentioned it. You got to keep the truck kind of turned to the right, and if you're off of that rhythm, it can be really tricky to catch it.
Yeah, and what seemed like just the same thing we've seen here tonight, the trucks are bouncing off each other. We actually just saw the leaders bounce off the wall there, but as you mentioned, Joey, you can do that. You can bounce off one another's, you can bounce off the wall. But when it comes to that rhythm, as you just mentioned, you have to stay in the rhythm to get this truck to race right. And if you try to turn to the right and get your rhythm going, you don't know that somebody's on one of your quarter panels, that could send you and the driver behind you into the wall, and you won't even know.
Well, and with more yellow flag laps means more fuel savings. Now, I think it's a little bit of a moot point because Blake Reynolds, 38 laps, he pitted on the first yellow. He's already back up front. Nate Stewart, he pitted on the second yellow. He's all the way back up inside the top 5. But James Burke, our leader, as well as Keaton Swain in second place, those 2 trucks have yet to come in for the pit stop, as well as 4th place runner Nicholas Dashelet. And like I said, if we're under yellow flag, they're just fuel saving even more. I wonder if they are really going to stretch it the whole 65 laps.
You got to think at this point, Joey, if you try to head down pit road for, trying to predict
you're done.
caution in the next 17 laps, we'll see exactly what happens here.
If you come down now, Will, you're done in terms of track position. You're giving it all up.
You can't. No, and I'm looking at any name inside the top 5 right now has a legitimate chance at the battle for the lead. As we just saw, we had 3 trucks all battling each other one by one there for position. Man, we're in for, I'm saying anybody right now, like I said, inside the top 5 has a legit chance at it. We've seen Burke up there in the 7 really hold it down. We've seen Swain in the 21. But keep an eye on that 66. As you mentioned a few times here, Joey knows what it takes to get into victory lane, racing very strong here tonight as well.
Well, and the 66 threw a big slider on the last restart, try to get around a couple cars. He left a lane up top, but now that we're starting to dwindle down laps, I have a feeling that that lane being given is going to start to being taken away. And the other one is the 14 of Nate Stewart. He's going to be starting down low in row number 3 with the freshest tires. And if you ask me, that just gives the driver confidence. If you got fresh tires, you got a clean race truck, he's going to throw a big old slider down to the bottom and just see where he ends up in turn 2.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of moves we see here on the drop of the green flag. We've seen it now here on these restarts. These drivers waste no time to battle for position. We had a 4-wide battle there for just a split second there, Joey, for position the last restart we had. So as we come around the last couple corners here under caution, I'm curious to see who will come out with this race victory with only 15 laps to go.
Gonna be working 14 laps as James Burke in the number 7 already on the gas. Pretty good jump from the outside lane as well. Keaton Swain getting through as Nate Stewart opts to take the high line as he got a great restart. Already jumped up into the 4th place position. 3 wide racing coming off of turn 2.
And there goes Stewart to the inside of Blake Reynolds in that 66. See if he can carry momentum. But no, Swain will battle for the lead. Burke to the line right now. Make it 13 laps to go. Ran out of racetrack there, though, as Burke are still our race leader around 1 and 2, as we are now battling for a second. We have Swain in the 21, Blake Reynolds in the 66, and now Stewart in the 14, all battling for the 2nd place position as Burke will take us off the corner. So is our race leader.
I gotta give it to Keaton Swain, leaving a lane up top for Blake Reynolds when he was already clear. And here you see the speed from the top side. Blake Reynolds as well as Nate Stewart in the 14 is gonna drive right on by Keaton Swain, who is that purple truck down low, the number 21. And now it's off to the races. James Burke has 2 very fast trucks behind him. Only working 11 laps to go now. Can the number 7 machine hang on for the win?
James Burke, our race leader down the backstretch right now. We see the battle is brewing for second, though, as James Burke can keep this distance and watch this battle behind him. He knows he's got this race won here tonight as we come off the corner. James Burke, our race leader, make it 10 laps to go now, down to corner number 1.
The number 14 keeps showing a nose down inside, and we got a yellow flag on the racetrack. I believe maybe Tyler Green again involved. See Nathan Ramsey's a little bit slow as well. Gonna get a quick replay here. So you see just the multiple grooves on the racetrack, and ooh, just a little bit low, and wow, that would have been a bad impact hitting those water barrels down there.
Hey, would have given the truck a nice bath here on the dirt. Sure didn't feel good for Green inside that cockpit. But now Joey is going to run these couple of caution flag laps here. Probably looking at around 6 laps to go for those drivers. As you were mentioning, heading down pit road, is that an option now that they got this caution flag, or is that envelope you've already signed, sealed, and delivered it now?
No, if you come down pit road now, you're giving up all of the track position, and we've seen how difficult it is to make passes out on the racetrack. You're just saying, hey, everybody else take my position at that point.
Yeah, we look at James Burke in that 7. Now, we watched the distance that he was able to build on that run before the caution flag flew there. Joey, if he can do that again, do you see if Blake Reynolds or Stewart, as we watch them battle for second, do you think they can get up to James in that 7 machine, or do you think if James can get a good restart here, this race is all but done?
I don't know. It's going to be tough, you know, and we shouldn't get a green-white checkered attempt out of this. We should get going before then, and we do have green-white checkered attempts if we need them, but James Burke in the number 7 has done a fantastic job out front leading this race, holding off Blake Reynolds as well as Nate Stewart, as well as Keaton Swain, as well as Nicholas Dashlet and all of these other competitors. So really doing a fantastic job in the number 7 truck. And this is going to be a restart to watch. If the number 66 and the number 14 hold even in the acceleration zone, I expect some big moves to be thrown immediately, because once the trucks get going, it gets more and more difficult to get those runs and get up alongside.
Yeah, you have virtually no time at a track like Bristol to make those moves. You think about 6 or 5 laps to go. That's essentially just a couple passes around this short track here, Joey. So the time that you have to make those moves, to think about those moves, is very, very small. And if James can get out to that lead, your time to start making moves would already be up now, as he does have a lot of speed behind him in Swain in that 21, Stewart in that 14, and Blake Reynolds in that 66. Now, whether or not they can get up to James here on this restart is yet to be seen, as we're looking at maybe around 4 or 5 laps to go when we go back green.
Getting them lined up right now. Keep an eye. In my opinion, it's going to come from the top 3 trucks: James Burke, Blake Reynolds, and Nate Stewart. Who can get the drive off on this initial restart in order to make the move going down into turn 1 here? We're going to be getting one more lap under this pace truck, and then we'll be getting green flag. And will pull out that crystal ball. We're going to be getting 4 laps to go. Who is your race favorite right now?
Race favorite for me right now, Joey, I'm going to look down the grid a little bit. I like Swain in that 21 machine, currently in 4th. I think now here with 5 laps to go, we'll start pulling off those moves. We've already started to see them really battle it out there, battle for position, hold position as well. So watch out for the 21 here on this restart.
Well, safety trucks pulling off right now. James Burke already on the gas. Fantastic restart from our leader, and actually single file through 4th place. Nate Stewart goes up there and squeezes Keaton Swain into the wall on entry, but I'm looking at the 14. He's going to have pretty good drive off. See if he goes down low with this run. No, they opt to stay up top. All the speed right now is in the top of the racetrack as we got him lined up nose to tail. Here comes the 14. Where is he going to go with this run?
Making 3 laps to go now as James Burke in the 7 will take us off corner number 2. We are stacked up as now Stewart in the 14 has crashed off of 2 right now. Caution flag is out with 3 laps to go. And Blake Reynolds in the 66 spins as well down the backstretch, Joey. Wow, what a Yachty shuffle to the end of this race here tonight.
Oh, there was contact between Nate Stewart and Blake Reynolds right there. You saw it. Nate Stewart got into the left rear quarter panel of Blake Reynolds, sent himself around, and then ultimately Blake Reynolds was just so out of shape from the contact, he spun a little bit further down the straightaway, and that's 2 of our front runners completely taken out of the main picture of this race.
Yeah, 2 of the strongest trucks here tonight. Blake Reynolds in the 66 worked up the grid, battled for position. We also saw here tonight the 14 of Stewart, one of the fastest trucks out there, no doubt. Started on the pole position, worked his way to keep that position as well. See both their nights essentially end that way has to be extremely disappointing for a very strong run yet here so far.
And while we're under this yellow flag here, we see we are going to get green, white, checkered attempt number 1. We have 3 of these available to us just in case we need them, and was going to highlight the number 89 truck real fast. That's Sean Williams in the 6th place. He is currently our biggest mover, up 10 positions from where he initially started tonight's race into the top 10, fighting for a top 5 right now, Will.
Yeah, pretty awesome race out of the 89 machine of Sean Williams. You know, starting in 17th position, you're essentially at the tail end of that pack there, Joey, right in that danger zone of cars, that middle lane of cars, if you will, to be able to avoid everything that's ensued behind there, all the 3 wide battles, all the spin outs, all the crashes. Good on Sean Williams in the 89, almost cracking inside the top 5.
Well, you know, and I didn't realize it was this truck, but if we can get a close up of this paint scheme. This is probably the most popular truck here in Tennessee. It looks like we got T Swift on here.
Oh, T Swizzle, my favorite. You know, it could be him, it could be me. I don't know on that 89 machine. We'll see if Sean Williams get a top 5 out of here tonight.
Goodness, I just had to notice that real fast. But looks like we got the field that's starting to line up, and a couple names that we haven't mentioned too much recently, but has found his way all the way back up towards the front, which is really where he belongs. Connor Berry in the number 2 truck, going to be restarting from the 4th place position. That's the 2nd row outside. He's going to have Keaton Swain, his very familiar off-road racer, in front of him. We're going to see what these 2 trucks can do from the outside lane, as I really feel like that's where they've been at home tonight.
Yeah, they've been at home all night long, Joey. Dirt, trucks, banging off each other. This is what these guys are used to. This is what their forte is outside of the eStockCar World Series. They're used to this style of racing, Joey. So when they got the word that we're going to be racing Bristol at dirt, I'm sure they were as excited as us on Christmas Day that they get to do what they do on a regular basis.
Well, you see the field already stacking up with a little bit of an accordion effect here, as the drivers don't want to give an inch away to their competitors, and letting the pace truck go out a little bit. James Burke in the number 7 down low went very early last time, waiting a little bit longer now on the gas here for this one. Not as quite of a big of a jump Got Keaton Swain already over his bumper. Keaton Swain's going to throw a big slide job underneath. He's going to clear the number 7 as there's contact with the number 7 off of turn 2, but Connor Berry to the lead off of turn 2 as we have another yellow flag as there's trucks turned around all over the place.
Huge pile up off of 2. We have trucks piled up down the backstretch as well. We had a battle for the lead right before that yellow flag flew. Connor Berry will be our race leader in the 2 officially as they battled it out before the yellow flag was flown. And boy, what a pile of carnage we have now, Joey, on our green-white checkered attempt. Looks like it was started right off of corner number 4 there, and then down into 1, it just started to snowball.
Yeah, we see Blake Reynolds here, I believe, in the 66, trying to get underneath. Look at the avoidance. Oh, just got collected up in that. I believe that was the 66 there, Blake Reynolds. He was doing his best to try to avoid. Yeah, let's ride along here. You see just so much contact, trucks all over. And then as we get down to the straightaway, we got stopped trucks. It's carnage.
Yeah, and for Blake Reynolds in that 66, just coming off of what happened not too many laps ago. Now your night goes from bad to even worse there, Joey, but it was going through the stages there. He was through stage 1, through stage 2, and then stage 3 finally gets entangled in all that mess. We watched it right there on Maconi Entertainment. That pass for the lead before the yellow light started to flash here at Bristol. Connor Berry will be our race leader as he made that pass of Keaton Swain. Connor Berry, who we just spoke about just not too long ago there, Joey, very comfortable in this sort of atmosphere.
Very comfortable, and honestly, I think that was the best racing move I've seen all night. You know, we haven't seen a whole lot of 2 wide racing, and Connor Berry read the situation, saw 3 wide, saw the funnel happening, was able to get his truck underneath all of that action, which can be very difficult to do given the low grip out here, and rocketed off a turn 2 with that drive off straight to the lead around Keaton Swain. And yeah, we're definitely going to have to get a replay of that after the race, even if the number 2, no matter where he finishes, that was one heck of a move. And looks like we're going to have the lights out on the pace car. Nope, looks like one more lap here under the pace car. And Will, now that the field has shuffled around a little bit, you going to still stick with your favorite winner, or are you going to pick somebody new out here?
No, I really feel like the 21 machine of Keaton Swain is still my pick here tonight. We saw how he was able to battle through adversity before that last caution there, almost work up to the lead. He was in the lead there for not just too long. Connor Berry with a pass under caution with Keaton Swain brushing the wall off of 2. Other than that, Connor Berry would still be in second. Keaton Swain would be our race leader here. So watch out for this battle between these top 2 drivers here, the driver of the green flag. But you can't also forget Paul Mikologic right there as well. Has done a great job of working through the positions. Now has that truck inside the top 3.
Well, here we go. Connor Berry, the number 2, is going to lead the field to the green flag. And something else that I'm noticing, 42 laps on his tires compared to 74 laps of Keaton Swain, 64 laps on Paul Mikologic, 74 laps on James Burke. I think the number 2 truck is sitting in the catbird seat right now as the pace truck rolls off. Connor Berry waits patiently and now gets on the gas, really rolls on it, which allows Keaton Swain a fantastic drive going into turn number 1. This is going to give the lead to the number 21 truck. Connor Berry in the number 2 tries to stay down low off of Keaton Swain, but it's all in the hands of the 21.
21 machine Keaton Swain will be our race leader. Paul Mikologic, though, with a huge run off the corner. They're side by side with 1 lap to go. Down to corner number 1, Keaton Swain is our race leader momentarily, but here comes Connor Berry in that 2 machine.
The number 2 Connor Berry goes low to try to pull a slider, and that doesn't work. We're 3 wide going into turn 3 on the last lap. James Burke through the middle sends it with some speed, but it's going to be Keaton Swain taking home the checkered flag. The race is on for second place. It's James Burke, Connor Berry, but Keaton Swain, your winner here at Bristol.
What a drive it was for Keaton Swain and that 21 machine. Joe, you touched on that off-roading experience. Really played a huge part here tonight. Don't see too much damage on that 21 here as he's going to brush the wall on his victory lap here tonight at Bristol. Just a clean looking truck on the dirt here tonight. Get a good shot of it here on Maconi Entertainment. Just an excellent drive out of Keaton Swain.
Well, Keaton Swain stayed out there the entire race. 76 laps on that fuel stint and comes home with the checkered flag. We're going to step away real fast and be right back with the finishing results.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
What a finish to this race here at the eStockCar World Series. Ultimately, it was Keaton Swain standing on top in the number 21 truck, taking home the checkered flag. James Burke in the number 7, second place. Connor Berry, the restart leader on that final green-white checker, comes home in the 3rd place position there. And there we see Paul Mikulajic 4th. Sean Williams inside the top 5. Nate Stewart, 6th place. Barrett Polhemus, 7th. Sam Brochu, 8th. Hayes Booth, and then Christopher Fathke rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and for you look inside the top 10, now in 11th position here on these full results, Tyler Green will finish in 11th. Crystal King will finish in 12th in that 69 machine. Matthew Hofford will finish 13th. AJ Marsh 14th, Troy Neeson in 15th, Nicholas Dachalet in the 23 machine will finish 16th, Nathan Ramsey in 17th. Now we're getting into those lap cars just a little bit here. Joey Blake Reynolds will finish 7 laps down in the 18th position, Matthew Jarrett in the 19th position, 16 laps down. Lance Marsh in that 60 machine will finish 20th here tonight, and the last truck on the track will be Franklin Monick in that 52 machine. But Joey, what a race it was here. We had a lot of trucks up there in the lead. We had quite the battles here going down to the finish. And as we're going to take a look here once again on that pass that Connor Berry had on Keaton Swain, Keaton Swain was able to get that position back and get that checkered flag.
Yeah, he was, and we've got Keaton Swain joining us. And first of all, congratulations, Keaton. You just won at Bristol.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, take us through the race in your eyes, because you are one of the only trucks to stay out there the entire time on your fuel strategy. Did you know that you could do that, or were you banking on quite a few yellows?
Yeah, I actually had no idea. I figured we weren't going to have to pit at all. And after, I think, the second caution there, after a couple of guys started pitting, I was kind of questioning what I was doing. But I figured, this race brings a lot of chaos, and figured that there'd at least be 1 or 2 more cautions. So figured I'd be all right on fuel. And, you can never pass up track position. So figured at that point I'll just stay out and hope for a couple yellows, and it worked out.
Now, I know your background here on iRacing has a lot of off-road experience. I know you get into an off-road truck as well in the real world. Why don't you tell everybody watching and listening about your off-road experience and how that related to Bristol here, or if it didn't relate at all?
I mean, the off-road stuff's obviously a lot different than this. The only thing that's somewhat similar is the dirt, obviously. And, I wouldn't say there's too much comparison on iRacing between the two. Just the throttle control is key no matter what kind of dirt racing you're doing. So that definitely, helps out a little bit and gave me a little bit of advantage here tonight, just having that dirt track experience.
Well, and looking at the next round, Keaton, it's Talladega Super Speedway. Always just kind of a toss-up with that big one in Super Speedway racing. How do you like that type of pack racing versus your traditional racing that you usually do?
Yeah, the super speedway stuff is fun. Obviously you don't know what's ever going to happen, so it's kind of a wild card, which makes it fun for everyone, as everyone has a chance to win. So next week we'll just mind our p's and q's and hopefully not get caught up in the big one, and hopefully make it 2 in a row here.
Well, I know that you're always one of the fastest competitors out there on the racetrack, and you've had some tough breaks so far in this series, but congratulations, you finally are standing on the top step. And before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to say hi to or thank?
Yeah, I just got to thank Appliance Parts Company, Factory Sim Sport, Sim Coach Pedals, everyone that helps out Connor's League and ZK Designs, and you guys for putting on the broadcast, making us look good.
Well, that was Keaton Swain, driver of the number 21, taking home the win, the checkered flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And looks like Will is standing by with our second place finisher.
Yeah, James Burke and that 7 machine. James, you made it interesting right on that last corner. You slid, almost snagging that victory on the exit of that last corner here tonight. But James, other than that last second pass there that you tried to, put forth, you still ran a strong race here tonight, Bristol. Take us through your run at the dirt.
Well, the being falls from the magic trick every once in a while. I think I knew that coming in here. I have a lot of experience here. I'm a dirt guy. A lot of these guys are asphalt guys, but there's a ton of talent in the top 5 or so, and they're dirt guys too. And I didn't think I'd be here at all. I figured top 10 at least, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and I think you'd be happy with the run you had here tonight. In the first, we had a lot of green flag runs here tonight, and then a couple of yellow flags. But other than that, it was a pretty clean race. Did you feel the same yourself inside that truck here tonight?
Yeah, I started getting down to the end there when Keaton and I got mixed up a little bit, and that I got even a little bit more angrier than I was before. Also a little bit more, I don't know, competitive, I guess. And I knew going into the last corner, I knew I had to make something happen, and I felt just as good when I started the race as I did in the end. I mean, I felt fast even coming into practice. Again, I didn't think I was going to be here. These guys are fast. I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about the end of the race there. When we saw Blake Reynolds in the 66 and Stewart in the 14th, basically crash out. Did you feel like maybe your window was wide open for you to snag this victory here tonight? Because it looked like once that happened, it was really anybody's ball game there at the end.
I honestly didn't see who was behind me. The only people that I actually relatively noticed from any of these guys are the off-road guys. So seeing those names, they're just like normal iRacing names to me. So as long as I could keep Keaton Swain and Connor Berry around me, I knew I was happy. So those other guys, I didn't even know they were there.
That's true, but we knew you were there on that last lap. Almost had it there. James almost was able to snag that race victory here tonight, but a second place finish is not too shabby on the dirt here tonight in the eStockCar World Series. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out here before we let you go celebrate the second place finish?
Yeah, Smith Graphics, group of guys I run off-roads with, Team Legion, Nick, Plum. I mean, I ran laps with Nick tonight. He was out here adminning, so he did a good job tonight. I think he even ran too. I'm not sure if he finished the race, but he did good practice and qualifying. But Humblecock Clothing, Bonsai Move Clothing, if I forget anybody else, I thank them too. But yeah.
Well, James, great run here tonight, finishing second in tonight's race, in a race that took a lot of skill, a lot of ability. Before I let you go, though, James, how are those arms feeling with all the steering here tonight?
Very tired. I had shoulder surgery last year, and I'm feeling it tonight. It's been a while since I ran this many laps on dirt.
You gotta ice it down a little bit.
Yeah, right.
All right, James. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us. You're my man. We'll see you next week here in the eStockCar World Series.
Yep, thanks, guys.
And Joey, that was James Burke, our second place finisher here tonight, and he snagged that podium finish with a sweet move at the end of this race.
Yeah, good job there to James Burke. I was hoping to be able to talk to Connor Berry. I think he's having a few internet issues right now because in my opinion, he had the move of the race. And that we're going to end tonight's broadcast. We want to thank tonight's admin team as well as our broadcast partners here at Maconi Entertainment. Calling the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Will Tiller in the booth and Ryan Bauer on the controls. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in to tonight's racing action, and we hope to see you on February 14th for the next race of the eStockCar World Series at Talladega. Like I mentioned, it'll definitely be an exciting one, very different racing than what we saw tonight. Stay tuned to the Maconi Entertainment social media pages for the upcoming broadcast so you don't miss a thing. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment, and we'll see you next time.